Hey everyone, I am Beth Miller. I am the founder of the Marriage Saver program and a marriage coach. And today I'm coming in to talk to you about how to rebuild trust. When I meet with new clients, one of the biggest things they come to me with is they can't trust. And if you can't trust your husband, it's going to be very difficult to repair a marriage. So let's talk about the steps to building trust. And before we can get into the actual steps, we got to figure out what's blocking the trust. And usually there's two things blocking the trust. Generally, it's triggers. Triggers being what your partner is doing or what they're not doing. So that could be that they're on the phone or they're not telling you I'm sorry or that I'm going here or that I'm going to be late. So triggers will be what your partner's doing, not doing, but then you can also trigger yourself. So triggering yourself could be the thoughts that keep ruminating within your mind, being like, where is he? What's he doing? Is he still talking to her? Why won't he open up? So the thoughts that are plaguing your mind could be blocking trust. Also, the other things that could be blocking trust is your emotions. If you're just so angry, often when we're angry, our heart is closed. And if our heart is closed, that anger can block us from really repairing the marriage. So we got to figure out what the blocks are. The blocks are typically triggers. If they're not triggers, what's blocking us is often boundaries. It means boundaries are being crossed. You are asking to see the phone, or you're asking him if he's still talking to her. You're asking him to make that phone call and cut it off with her. So boundaries could be being crossed here. And usually it's a combination. But before we can actually set those boundaries, we really got to figure out what's triggering you that we can actually work on and get rid of from within you. And you could set boundaries at the same time. I shouldn't say you got to do that inner work first. You could do both at the same time, but we definitely have to get that inner work. Because even if you have great boundaries in place, I have some wives who come to me like, he's doing everything right. He wants to stay in the marriage. He's going to counseling, but I just can't trust him. And that's when we're triggering ourselves, or something they're doing or not doing is triggering you. So if it's in regards to triggering yourself, a lot of times it's those ruminating thoughts. And to get rid of those ruminating thoughts, we got to figure out what the emotion is. If the emotion is anger, if it's sadness, if it's resent, if it's embarrassment, we got to dig into those emotions, because those emotions are gifts. They're telling us like, hey, listen to me, I'm not okay here. So it's quite obvious. We often know how we are being triggered because of those emotions, but then we got to dig deeper. Why are those emotions coming up? So there's typically a belief. And how this works is we have a memory, the betrayal, and from the betrayal, we then have these beliefs. And the beliefs are, I'm not enough, I can't trust him, he's doing this again, he's going to do it again. So we have all these beliefs, or I'm a failure, I'm not lovable. Like there's all these little beliefs, and some of them like logically we're like, I know I'm lovable, I know I'm enough, but sometimes there's this little nagging voice in the back that doesn't fully believe it. So we have a memory of the betrayal, we have all these thoughts that then come from those beliefs, the beliefs of I'm not lovable or he's doing this again. And those thoughts are what we hear all the time, which then create the emotions of fear, sadness, anger, resentment, and all those things. So we got to tackle those belief systems. If the belief really is, I can't trust him, we have to make that decision today. You're either going to trust or you're not going to trust. And if you choose to go back and forth, you're going to keep your marriage in limbo land. You're going to keep your marriage stuck. We have to decide if we're going to surrender this. And you can pick who you want to surrender to. Those that are religious may pick God to surrender it to. Those that are more like universe, I'm going to surrender it to the universe. I don't need to be the one constantly watching, because if you're watching trying to rebuild trust, your nervous system is going to be all over the place. Okay, if you're looking at the phone, you're wondering, okay, what am I going to find? What am I going to find? You're already in that state, that heightened nervous system of preparing yourself to see something. So we got to surrender this. You got to decide, am I going to trust? Am I not going to trust? And what are my boundaries? Do I need to check the phone, or do I just need to have the passwords knowing it's accessible if I need it, but I'm not going to check? So got to decide. Are you going to choose to trust or not choose? And that's the first decision. Doesn't mean you have to trust yet, but you need to decide. And if I'm going to trust, then I need to figure out what those blocks are. What emotions, what thoughts, what beliefs are blocking it? And that's when we have to dig into it. And that's why I use neuroscience and psychology. And the psychology is like, what are those thoughts? What are those emotions? That's kind of like what's going on in the brain in regards to what we can really kind of see and feel. But when it comes to the actual neuroscience, we need to change the neural pathways that are firing those belief systems and those thought systems that are firing, I can't trust, I can't trust, I can't trust, because I think he's doing it again. I think he's still talking to her, which are the beliefs. And so to do that, what we need to do is I use a process called hypnojourneying. And with hypnojourneying, you just got to go back to some of those memories of distrust. We want to be able to go back to the past and leave it in the past. It doesn't mean we're going to forget. It doesn't mean we're changing the memory. It just means we're coming to a place of acceptance. It doesn't mean we have to say it's okay. We don't have to love that that happened, but it's a place of acceptance. This happened in the past. I can see that I wasn't able to trust. And I wasn't able to trust, but that's the past. I close that chapter. And now I can focus on now, today, the present, day by day by day. We don't want to look too far ahead because that'll create fear. We don't want to look too far in the past because that's going to create fear. What if it happens again? So we really got to stay present. And to stay present, we have to get those thoughts under control because those thoughts are constantly taking us past and present and then future. And so we got to get those in alignment. So we got to choose to trust. We got to be really aware of the emotions, the beliefs, the triggers that are coming through. And when we choose to trust, that's when we got to dig into that stuff to be like, okay, I don't want to feel this anymore. And we have the power to heal from within. We have the power to tackle those thoughts. And just say you're not in my program, what can you do? Hypno journey is awesome, but if you don't have access to that, conscious stream of writing is wonderful. Conscious stream of writing means you're just writing on paper, just mindlessly, like just kind of like shutting off the logical mind. You can even do it with your eyes closed. You're scribbling all over the page, just writing like, I feel, I'm angry. Why did he do this? Why did he do this? And you just kind of get it all out. And that'll help calm the nervous system. And then we get a lot of awareness of, okay, what are my thoughts? Catching those thoughts. Do I want to keep thinking those thoughts? No. What is the reprogram thought? The reprogram thought is, you know what, today I choose to trust. And again, this could take a long time because the hypno journey is so quick because we just go right into the mind and we're just like in that really deep theta brainwave state where you're very relaxed. You're not asleep, but you're very relaxed. We can go back to that memory and really neutralize it. But if you don't have that availability, then you really want to keep, okay, I caught the thought, I'm reprogramming. Today I choose to trust. And you want to feel it in your body. You want to feel that it feels good. You want to feel that, yeah, today I choose to trust, that empowerment. Today I choose to trust. And when we do that, our vibration is higher. It's like, okay, I'm going to trust. And your partner will sense that too. And with time, when you have that higher vibe, your partner's gonna be able to open up more. Depending on your partner, I have some clients, their husbands are just very empathetic. They don't want to hurt the wives anymore. They don't want to hurt their partner because they don't want to make them sad. They already see how much pain they're in, so they actually withhold information. And then I have other clients whose husbands just shut right down. They're filled with shame and guilt. And so it doesn't feel safe for them always to open up because they're just going to feel more shame, more guilt if they see their wife crying. So I'm not saying you have to stuff your emotions. That is not what we're doing here. What we want to do is a lot of times we can process those emotions kind of not necessarily on our own, but in a safer place that doesn't always involve our husband, because it's crazy. The one person who really hurt you is often the only person you can go to do this healing, which is why it's so great to have an accountability coach or someone, a therapist that you can kind of unpack this with so that you can get yourself back in that higher vibe so you can have that open communication without completely taking it to a lower vibe. And if you do, it's okay. Then just bring it back up if you're feeling really sad and angry. All right, how to rebuild trust is a quick recap. What's triggering you? Is it your own thoughts? Is it the memories? Is it images? Or is it boundaries? Often it's a combination. From there, you have the awareness of what's blocking it. And then we have to decide, today I'm going to trust. Today I'm going to trust. And we want to get you to a place where we can close that chapter and realize all right, we're still there. I got cut off for a moment. So hopefully that makes sense. If you have any questions, let me know. Send me a DM. I apologize, I got cut off for a moment there. But send me a DM and I can give you some more advice on how to rebuild trust based on your specific situations. But we really want to stop dwelling on what happened. We want to come to terms with it. We want to accept it so that we can then really rebuild trust in the present. I think that's everything I want to say today. So also, if you have any ideas, any questions, send those to me. If you have other ideas for trainings or questions you have, I'm happy to hop on Facebook Live and do one for you based on whatever questions you send. So feel free to DM me or send me a comment below of a topic that you want me to address. All right, everyone, have a good day and we'll chat soon.